Hi, welcome back to another Siddle Hot Takes. I'm Angelica Fulcini Scruggs, and I'm joined here with Cheryl. And we're going to talk about our faculty version of our needs assessment and some of the data that comes along with that.
Great. Well, I'm so delighted to join you. And the third and final question is looking at the data from the perspective of what should we be doing about it? What the so what question, if you will. And so we're listening closely to what faculty want to see from us. And so we asked the question, how do faculty prefer to learn? Because we have so many ways that we can actually reach out to them. And we actually disaggregated the data based on faculty and also graduate students, because we had graduate students complete this as well. And what we found is that the number one way that faculty prefer to learn is through asynchronous online courses available 24/7. And that, and it kind of goes with the idea that, one of the barriers that they identified was time. And so they want to jump in and do this when they have the time to do it, not when we've scheduled it. So the asynchronous really makes a lot of sense. And their second choice was interact on a webinar, because they like that collegial interaction. When we looked at graduate students, they said that they would prefer to experience it in a simulation. And one of the things I think we should ask our audience is to actually jump into our community and say, what does that really mean? What kinds of simulations are they really looking for? And then the second one was interact on a webinar. So I think we're doing a lot of things right, but I think we have to explore the simulation, because people do like that hands-on, minds-on kind of information that you get when you're in a simulated environment. The other thing we asked was, what are the barriers to actually moving forward with using technology well in preparation programs? And no surprise, 83% of the respondents said it's about time. I just, my time is very limited. And so that's why it's important to do that asynchronous and to make sure that we meet their demands and personalize it for them. 72%, and this is really interesting, 72% said it's a lack of knowledgeable faculty members in ed tech. And I think by looking at that and then juxtapositioning it with kind of the data that I've shared so far, we have some early adopters who have completed these forms because they knew what it was about technology. And I think what this is a reflection on the entire institution of higher education and where faculty really are. And so that really validates what we're doing in terms of building capacity of the various uses with assistive technologies, assistive technologies and others. And then a third data set was about the lack of understanding of how technology can be used to support students with special needs. And I think that's the fine tuning of our center actually works a lot with how to use technology effectively and what are the pedagogical approaches that you need to use when you're using various aspects of technology. But this is really zeroing in on the students with special needs and asking, how can we use technologies that are specific to them as well as the general ones to accelerate and deepen and have them experience learning in whole new ways that we've never thought of before. So again, it validates the fact that they need Siddle to really help them do that. And then a third and last question is we asked, and there are others that are in the report, but I'm just kind of going over the highlights. A third one is emerging topics of interest that they would like Siddle to address. And so no surprise, the number one interest was policies on the use of artificial intelligence, the generative artificial intelligence. And so we're already doing that, and we'll continue to do that. And the second one, and that was 81% of the respondents. That's huge. Yeah. And then the second one was access to research on what works in educational technology, because they have a responsibility during that preparation program to make sure that what they're presenting, they know actually works in K-12 classrooms with students. And so we've already discussed and debated kind of what we're going to be doing with this, how this is actionable for us.
Yeah.
And we have at least 3 things, and these are the 3 that are top of mind. One is that the resources that we have are oftentimes in small bits like hot takes and blogs and research briefs, et cetera. And we're going to try to bring all of those together into significant courses that the faculty said they wanted. So that's one. A second one is that oftentimes they don't, higher institutions of higher ed don't really know what readiness for digital learning really amounts to, especially in preparation programs when you have to factor in the K-12 element. And so we're actually developing a higher education digital readiness assessment that actually maps that out for them and allows them to take some surveys and analyze where they are on that spectrum. So I think that's going to be really helpful.
Yeah, very helpful.
And then a third one is the natural one to focus our attention on the topics of interest that we've already identified through this needs assessment.
Great. I'm excited to see what comes out of this. I know we've been working hard already, especially on the topic of AI, but I'd love to continue this conversation in our community. Like you said, please join in the community. Let us know what you're thinking, how you feel about this hot takes and all the data we've shared. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you.